A SpiceJet flight from Delhi to Dubai was diverted and landed in Karachi in Pakistan due to a technical snag. Post this, the airline has now gone on to issue a statement denying an emergency landing. SpiceJet says that the aircraft was diverted due to an indicator light malfunctioning. The aircraft landed safely in Karachi and a replacement aircraft is being sent to take the passengers to Dubai. Remember, this incident comes in a series of technical snags the airline's flights have been witnessing in the last few weeks, causing utmost inconvenience to the passengers and raising issues of passenger safety. And I'm being joined my colleague Madhav live on the broadcast. Madhav, first when this came news, it was seen as in fact a case of emergency landing. However, the airline went on to refute any such charge, saying that no, this is not an emergency landing and that the passengers are safe. What's the latest in terms of the passengers right now? Have they been, has the separate aircraft been sent to take them to Dubai? And also here, if you could throw more light on what exactly led to this technical snag, keeping in mind that this is the 6th such incident which is being reported in the last 3 months.
Well, one or two aspects, in fact, if I can make it very clear. One is that not just the SpiceJet airline, but the DGCA has also clarified that it was not an emergency landing. Having said that, what exactly happened to this particular flight, that is SG-11 from Delhi to Dubai? Now, what the DGCA sources have indicated is that the crew during the flight observed unusual fuel quantity reduction from the left tank. They carried out a relevant, non-normal checklist. However, fuel quantity kept decreasing. The pilot in command then decided to divert the aircraft to Karachi. The aircraft diverted in coordination with ATC and landed safely at Karachi International Airport. Now, no emergency was declared, and during the post-flight inspection, no visual leak has been in fact observed from the left main tank. Now, this clearly means that while flying, the pilot suspected due to the indicators that there was some kind of leak, but when it was physically checked, there was no leak that was observed in the left tank, which means that the indicator that was in fact giving out that signal of the lowering of fuel was perhaps faulty, and that's why in fact SpiceJet has said pretty much as much in their entire statement that has come out. As you're rightly saying, there have been a series of incidents that have taken place as far as SpiceJet's aircraft are concerned, but as far as some of these incidents at least are concerned, whether it's a bird hit, whether it is a faulty indicator, now these are not entirely uncommon, and some of these situations are also beyond the control of the pilot, the airline, or even the regulator. So it's not entirely unexpected. However, even if you look at the total number of incidents, regulators as well as experts are saying that it is well within the safety parameters as far as the international standards are concerned as a percentage of the total number of flights. And secondly, what is also of course being said by regulators is that if at any level, any of the airlines compromise on safety, then the aviation regulator would be coming down very, very heavily on them. In fact, there is a safety audit that is currently underway as well, where different where different airlines, planes have in fact being checked on a regular basis, and if any lacunae have been found in the maintenance or the safety standards of these aircraft, appropriate action has been advised by the DGCA, and in some cases even stern action being taken against those who are responsible for the maintenance. So the aviation regulator as well as the airline very confident, saying that this is just one among several incidents that have taken place, but certainly is not something that is a regular feature. Is their charge, of course, from the passenger's point of view. If one looks at it, certainly whether one is in an aircraft that is burned and in fact there's smoke billowing out of the window, or if you're a passenger who's going to land in Karachi, now landing in Pakistan, the best of times is of course a prospect that many Indians would be very wary of. In these circumstances, of course, it makes it that much more difficult. So clearly in such a situation, certainly of course a huge ordeal for the passengers, but at the same time, the aviation regulator and the airline saying that they're looking into all safety aspects and are assuring that there will not be a repeat of similar incidents.
Absolutely. So the frequency of such safety incidents only continue to be a cause of utmost concern. Madhav, thank you so much for joining us with that lowdown on the technical aspect of this incident that in fact took place today. And I'm in fact also being joined by Dr. Sanat Kaul, former Civil Aviation Joint Secretary. Sir, a very, very good evening to you, and thank you for speaking to Mirror Now. Now, I want to begin here by asking you that you being an expert in this field, how do you think that today's incident could have been avoided? Were there not enough checks in place? How do you think what measures could have been taken to avoid this divergence?
Yes, instrument malfunction is not a very simple, minor thing. All instruments have backups, and it is not clear how this instrument, which is the fuel indicator, was malfunctioning. In fact, these are all serious issues and kind of indicate that there was something wrong with the maintenance, the line maintenance, the ground maintenance, people who look into all these things. How this happened, we'll know only after the inquiry, but it should not be taken as a non-serious or a minor incident, because the pilot of the aircraft decided to divert and land in Karachi. So this is a reasonably serious issue. There could have been a leak, but there was not. It was only because of the malfunctioning of the instrument. But why was the instrument malfunctioning? Malfunctioning of instrument is not such a minor thing, especially when it is showing reduction in fuel. So these are my initial comments on it.
All right, sir, like I was speaking to my colleague Madhav as well, this is the 6th such incident, in fact, that is being reported in the last 3 months. Earlier also there have been, in fact, incidents of bird hit. Do you think somewhere, such incidents also raise questions over the credibility of the airlines and the authorities and the staff members, keeping in mind that, there has been a spree of such incidents of, emergency landings and divergence?
Well, bird hit is a different issue. Bird hit is something to do with the airports. The Airport Authority of India and other airports have to make sure that the birds are not there at the airport. How they have plenty of measures, instruments by which they can reduce the number of birds. So to that extent, I will not blame the airline for the bird hit. But for other things like sudden decompression took place recently, is certainly a very, very serious matter. These are all issues of maintenance. Now, let me say that during the COVID period, airlines have suffered huge losses. And in order to make up the losses, I presume certain things like maintenance, customer care take a beating, which is unfortunate. And at the same time, it is also DGCA, who is the safety inspector. He has to be more cautious and he has to do more rigorous exercise to ensure that airlines do not lack the safety standards. And this can only be done by more thorough inspections and more warnings, because we know that at this time, airlines are in financial distress and maybe they will cut corners to do it, which is at the cost of safety. Whatever is done is nothing to do with safety. Perhaps the seat covers are dirty, or the area, the insides of the aircraft are dirty, does not relate directly to safety. And therefore, to that extent, it is not an issue of DGCA. But when it comes to safety issues, like malfunctioning of instruments, there is also a responsibility of the DGCA that he has not been prompt and quick and good at his inspections. And knowing that airlines are in distress, financial distress, there is a need for a much better supervision by the DGCA also.
All right, Dr. Sanat Kaul, one last and final question from you. What steps, according to you, can be taken by the airlines at an individual level to ensure that such incidents do not take place in near future?
Well, as I said, bird hit, I will not put it on the airline. I will put it on the airports, and airports should be asked, be penalized for not taking enough precautions to avoid the birds around the airport. On the other side, where things like instruments not working, decompression taking place, these are certainly issues of maintenance of aircrafts, and their airlines are to blame, but the overall responsibility lies with the Director General of Civil Aviation, who has to do a much harder, much detailed inspection of the safety management system which the airlines are following and how much of implementation is there. To that extent, I think DGCA needs perhaps more staffing, but apart from more staffing, a much greater detailed inspection of each airline.
All right, that was Dr. Sanat Kaul, civil aviation expert, joining Mirror Now on the special discussion on the steps that in fact can be taken to avoid such sudden incidents of divergence in the near future. So thank you so much for your precious time to Mirror Now.
Thank you.